John shifted slightly in the cramped trunk of his SUV, careful not to knock over the bottle of champagne or crush the bouquet of roses. The ring box sat open in his palm, reflecting the soft interior lights of the car. His heart pounded, not from nerves, but anticipation. It was Sophia's birthday. He had planned every detail. The stream was live, private, and password-locked. Over 100 friends and family were watching quietly, waiting for the moment she would open the trunk, gasp in joy, and see him kneeling with the ring. He had rehearsed the words in his head a dozen times. The car's internal camera was perfectly positioned. All she had to do was walk out the office elevator, step toward the car, and open the trunk. He could already picture the smile on her face. But instead of footsteps, he heard laughter. 2 voices. One male. One Sophia's. His breath caught. That wasn't part of the plan. He stayed still, listening. Then the car door opened. In a flash, heels clacked against the floor mat. A man's voice whispered, "Are you sure no one's watching?" Sophia giggled. "It's my boyfriend's car. He's working late. He doesn't even use the remote start feature. It's like a cheap little domestic sedan pretending to be smart." John blinked. What? She had activated the AC herself earlier. He'd seen the notification. Then came the sound of kisses. Wet. Loud. Hungry. They weren't just sitting. They were sprawled. Shifting. Moaning. From inside the trunk, he could feel the weight distribution of the SUV change. He dared not move. If he made a sound, the surprise was over, and so was his heart. But then the worst realization struck. The live stream. It was still running. The camera. Still rolling. Positioned directly behind the center console. The screen inside the car glowed faintly, catching the rhythm of betrayal in a flicker of moving shadows. He reached for his phone to shut it off. But it buzzed before he could unlock it. Someone was sending him gifts on the app. Not just anyone. His future mother-in-law. She must have thought she was being helpful. Gifts triggered virtual effects that blurred the screen. Maybe she was trying to shield Sophia's modesty. Or maybe she didn't know what she was watching. Either way, she was burning through retirement savings in real time. John stared blankly at the trunk door. He had imagined this day so differently. Confetti. Applause. Her saying yes. Instead, he was sweating in silence as his girlfriend made love to someone else inches from his knees. John had always believed in slow, careful building. At 29, he wasn't flashy. He wasn't the guy with a sports car or 6-figure shoes. He was the one who picked up double shifts at the warehouse, stacked boxes until his spine gave out, and kept an Excel sheet tracking every rupee. Rent, paid. Groceries, budgeted. Savings, growing steadily. All of it for a future he believed in. A future named Sophia. When they met, she was bright, charming, and had a laugh that cracked through his usual caution. She worked in marketing, always dressed just a little too well for their dates, but she never complained about his hoodie or the worn-out sneakers he swore by. At least not to his face. In private, she posted filtered photos of their breakfasts with captions like, "My king treats me like royalty," smiling face with hearts, but the breakfast was usually made by John while she scrolled through her phone. He never minded. He liked making her happy. What he didn't know was that the captions were less about him and more about what she wanted people to believe. She curated him the way she curated everything, filtered, staged, enhanced. Sophia was 27 and moved like she was always performing. Her work life was immaculate, high heels clicking through meetings, coffee in hand, sleek ponytail bouncing as she impressed clients. Online, she lived a fantasy. John was the convenient background character in that fantasy. A prop. A placeholder boyfriend. Something she could upgrade later. She never said it outright, but in private group chats with her friends, she used terms like starter pack and loyal dog. One time, she joked to her coworker Liza, "He's like a Honda Civic in a city of Porsches, reliable, but God, who wants reliable?" She had been seeing Stefan for 3 months. He was 32, a VP transferred in from headquarters, and he drove a silver Porsche with matte black trim. He noticed Sophia during a launch meeting and liked the way she smiled with her eyes even when her words were cutting. She liked the way he carried himself, like every room belonged to him. Their relationship started as harmless flirting, then drinks, then rides in his car. Soon, she stopped answering John's calls when she was working late. She told him to trust her. He did. John never doubted her. He had already picked out the ring, nothing flashy, but custom-made. He had chosen white gold with a rose quartz center, because she once said diamonds were cliché. He remembered that conversation like scripture. He had saved for 6 months, eating instant noodles just to afford it. The plan was simple: propose on her birthday. He coordinated with her best friend. He organized a surprise party with their closest friends and family waiting at home. He'd take her to the car, pretend they were going for a birthday dinner, and then pop open the trunk to reveal roses, fairy lights, a small speaker playing her favorite song, and him kneeling with the ring. He even made a slideshow to play on the living room TV once she said yes, photos of their memories, her favorite songs, little voice clips he secretly recorded during quiet moments. "I want you to remember," he wrote in the last slide, "that I've always chosen you." He imagined her crying, hugging him, gasping, yes, over and over. She would never see it. Because right now, she was sprawled in the back seat with another man. A man who gripped her waist and whispered things John couldn't bear to hear. And the only reason she hadn't seen John yet was because of the car's tint and the angle of the trunk. John had turned on the AC remotely earlier to keep the car comfortable. Sophia noticed the cool air when she opened the door and casually lied to Stefan, saying she activated it from her own app. "Cheap cars can be smart too," she joked. Stefan laughed. "This is a domestic model, right? These are like 100K max. I paid more for my rims." Sophia moaned in amusement, kissing him harder. To them, John's SUV was a joke. A peasant's carriage. A prop in their amusement park of infidelity. What neither of them knew was that John had spent 3 weeks planning every inch of this moment. From the angle of the live stream camera behind the rearview mirror to the customized flower layout in the trunk. He even placed small heart-shaped LED lights along the border so when the trunk opened, it would glow like a jewelry box. But now, those same lights flickered in the background of Betrayal. Sophia was laughing. Not the fake work laugh. A real one. The kind she used to reserve for John. It struck him harder than any slap. He checked the live stream feed on his phone. Still running. Still password locked. But the viewer count had gone up, way up. From 103 to 298. Then 321. Someone had leaked the password. Maybe a guest. Maybe Liza. Maybe no one. Maybe fate. Either way, strangers and loved ones alike were now watching. Some frozen. Some sending digital flowers. Some trying to exit the stream and failing to look away. His own sister had sent a heart emoji, maybe not realizing what she was witnessing. And yet John didn't move. He couldn't. His body felt welded to the carpeted floor of the trunk. The ring box was still open in his palm. His other hand gripped the champagne bottle tight enough to bruise. He had heard of betrayal. Had seen it in dramas. But it was always far away, fictional, exaggerated. This was clinical. Quiet. Casual. As if cheating was just another calendar item between Sophia's 3 p.m. client call and 6 p.m. manicure. What broke him wasn't the moaning or the insults. It was how at home she looked. How comfortable she was cheating inside a car that had been cleaned, polished, and arranged just for her. And yet, John still couldn't hate her. Not yet. He just stared at the little screen in his hand, watched the viewer count cross 400, and waited for the part where someone finally realized he was in the trunk. John didn't blink when the first button popped open. The sound of fabric shifting, of breath hitching, of seatbelts being ignored, it all played out like he was underwater, muffled and slow. Sophia was on top of Stefan now, straddling him as he slid down the seat. They didn't care about the setting. Didn't even check the mirrors. They were so used to getting away with it, so confident in their affair, that the idea of anyone watching didn't cross their minds. Except someone was watching. Hundreds of someones. The stream was still live. John could see the little red dot blinking on the dashboard screen through a crack between the seats. His camera app had been routed to the car's media system. He had done it to avoid holding his phone and ruining the shot. Now it was the only source of humiliation for them all. Sophia tilted her head back, lips parted, eyes half-lidded. "I told you, didn't I?" she whispered, dragging her nails down Stefan's chest. "This car has its perks." He smirked. "Still can't believe you drive this trash. My Porsche would never let me get away with this." She giggled. "That's why it's perfect. No one expects anything from a car like this. Not even the boyfriend." John's stomach twisted. Her voice was sultry, but familiar. That same soft lilt he used to fall asleep to now sounded like mockery. And she wasn't lying to protect him. She was lying to heighten the thrill. John's hand hovered near his phone. He thought about ending the stream. But the app interface was now locked through the dashboard, and the only way to shut it down would be to start the engine or exit the car. Neither were options. He was stuck. Caged in his own love story turned nightmare. And now the chat section of the stream was no longer silent. Short bursts of messages started coming in. Is this part of the surprise? Why are they kissing? Wait, is that Sophia? Turn it off, turn it off. The viewer count ticked upward like a metronome of shame. 401. 438. 469. His heart beat to that rhythm. He could feel the heat radiating from their bodies above him. The trunk was barely ventilated. The scent of her perfume mixed with Stefan's cologne filled the space. Somewhere outside, the world continued. But inside that car, time fractured. One particular viewer sent 10 roses back to back. The message ID was unmistakable, Sophia's mother. John swallowed hard. Each rose covered the screen with a digital petal animation for 3 seconds, hiding parts of the footage. She was trying to help. Trying to shield something. She didn't know what she was seeing. Or maybe she did. Maybe she was panicking, pretending it wasn't what it looked like. Maybe she still had hope, the way John did 3 minutes ago. Stefan began tugging at Sophia's blouse. She let him. She leaned into his neck, murmuring things John couldn't hear. The camera caught every movement. Every breath. The stream stuttered once, then resumed. Someone sent a vomiting emoji. Another viewer dropped the stream link into a group chat. John's phone vibrated again, this time with a message from his cousin. Bro, are you okay? He wanted to scream. Instead, he closed his eyes. This wasn't how proposals worked. This wasn't how love was supposed to die. Not in silence. Not while you held the ring in your hand. Sophia paused mid-kiss and glanced toward the dashboard. She squinted. Did the AC turn off? Stefan shrugged. No clue. But, is that camera on? John's entire spine tensed. Stefan leaned forward, wiping fog off the touchscreen. The streaming interface glowed. The viewer count read 528. Why is this car streaming? Sophia jerked upright. Wait, what? She leaned forward too, panic in her eyes now. Whose account is this? John knew it was over. Her fingers reached toward the screen, hesitating. No. No, 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 no. That can't be, is this live? She clicked the menu. Saw the timestamp. Saw her name in the title overlay. Proposal for Sophia, happy birthday ringda. Her hands trembled. No. No. This can't. Stefan stared. Who the hell set this up? Sophia froze. Then John coughed. It was reflex. It was suffocation. It was everything at once. And it shattered the illusion. Sophia whipped around like a ghost had touched her. What was that? The trunk latch shifted slightly as John moved inside. Then, slowly, he pushed open the back panel. The inside light flickered on. The first thing she saw was the roses. Then the champagne. Then his eyes. She screamed. What the hell? Stefan jumped, nearly falling out of the seat. What is this? John sat up, holding the ring box like a dead thing. Hi, Sophia. Happy birthday. She backed into the door like it might swallow her. You were there this whole time? I was going to propose, he said quietly. Live. With your family watching. With mine. Our friends. Everyone we know. She clutched her shirt, still half unbuttoned. Why didn't you say something? I tried calling. You said you were in a meeting. He gestured toward the screen. Then you turned off your phone. So I figured, why not let you finish your meeting? Stefan got out of the car, face pale. Listen, man. This isn't what it looks like. John tilted his head. Then what is it? Sophia stammered. It was a joke. A prank. I didn't know you were there. You knew it was my car. I thought you were at work. I was. I took a half day. She didn't respond. More messages poured in on the stream. End it. End it. Call the cops. Is this real? One final comment stood out. I'm watching this from the party you invited me to. John's grip tightened around the ring box. John stood halfway between the trunk and the back seat, shoulders stiff, hands still holding the ring like a punchline no one laughed at. Sophia's blouse was misaligned, her lipstick smudged at the corners. Stefan straightened his shirt and rolled his shoulders as if nothing serious had happened. Sophia stared at John with wide eyes for a moment, then something cold clicked into place in her expression. A wall went up behind her pupils. Not shame. Not panic. Just calculation. You could have warned me, she said. I tried, John answered quietly. You didn't want to talk. You said you were in a meeting. Stefan stepped in, face relaxed, even smug. Okay, look. You saw something you shouldn't have. Fine. We're all adults. Let's be reasonable. He pulled out his wallet and flipped it open without hesitation. Tell us your number. You want 10 grand? 20? Just say it and we can forget this ever happened. John's fingers curled slowly. You think this is about money? Of course it's about money, Sophia cut in sharply. You don't make enough to park in this building, let alone drive through it. And now you've got footage. Audio. Maybe blackmail material. I'm not stupid. John looked her in the eyes. You think I planned this? I think you're bitter. And poor. That's a dangerous combination, she said flatly. He climbed out of the trunk, stood tall, and looked at both of them under the parking lot lights. The stream was still running. Someone was screen recording. Dozens of viewers were flooding the chat with disbelief, fury, emojis, silence. Some were begging him to shut it down. Some were begging for more. Sophia glanced at the glowing trunk behind him, roses arranged in a heart, soft lights blinking around the edges. The bottle of champagne sat nestled between velvet pillows. She looked at it, then back at John. Her face didn't soften. She didn't flinch. She didn't even blink. Honestly, this is all a little sad. You should have just proposed like a normal person. Quietly. Privately. Not this spectacle. You're the one who made it a spectacle. Stephen moved between them. Last offer, he said. Take the money, delete the footage, and walk away. Be smart. John didn't answer. Sophia crossed her arms and glanced at the stream interface. 500 viewers and counting. It's only a matter of time before someone uploads this somewhere else. You want that? You want your name trending because you turned into a creep with a live stream fetish? I'm not the one who turned it into a scandal, John said. I'm the one who was supposed to be kneeling right now. You still can kneel, she smirked. But it won't be for a ring. He looked at her again and finally saw it clearly. There was nothing left of the girl he loved. There was no warmth. No confusion. No guilt. Just strategy. Behind them, a small group of people began gathering. Employees from her office. One man had a phone out. A woman whispered something, then pointed toward the car. Sophia noticed the attention and instantly straightened. With the poise of a seasoned presenter, she stepped forward, adjusted her blouse, and smiled faintly at the phones pointing their way. See this, she said, gesturing toward Stephen's Porsche parked nearby. This is what luxury looks like. There were gasps. A few muttered curses. Someone said her name in disbelief. Another laughed bitterly and mumbled, she really said that out loud? Stephen grinned like a man used to being envied. John didn't move. One of Sophia's coworkers approached hesitantly. Is this real? Are you actually dating our VP? Sophia didn't answer. She only lifted her chin, eyes daring anyone to say she wasn't worthy of him. John's phone vibrated in his pocket. He glanced at it. A text from his sister. Turn off the stream. This is getting dangerous. He didn't respond. Sophia noticed his silence and stepped closer. Still holding on to that ring? That fantasy? What do you think? If you stand there long enough, I'll change my mind. No, John replied, voice low. I don't want anything from you anymore. Then stop playing the victim. I'm not, he said. I'm the witness. That struck something. Sophia faltered half a step, but caught herself. Stephen didn't like the shift. He leaned in again, lowering his voice. You think you're brave. But trust me, if this gets out, you'll be the one who loses. You don't have the power. You don't have the resources. And you sure as hell don't have the balls. John tilted his head. You sure about that? I'm willing to bet 20,000 on it, Stephen said coolly. You keep your mouth shut, and no one ends up in a hospital. Understand? Sophia added, you push this too far, you're going to regret it. That's not a threat. That's a reality check. John chuckled, bitter and quiet. You really think I care about consequences right now? Stephen stepped even closer. Let me make it clearer then. One more word, one post, one message, one whisper about tonight, and I'll make sure someone puts you in a wheelchair. Permanently. John's smile vanished. The crowd gasped. Someone dropped their phone. Another whispered, did he just say that on camera? Sophia's eyes widened for the first time. Stephen. But it was too late. The stream was still running. Loud and clear. John looked directly into the camera. Everyone heard that, right? Over 600 viewers now. Some typing furiously. One message stood out. Screenshot saved. Audio clipped. Backup recorded. Sophia reached forward and swiped the screen on the dashboard. Stop it. Stop the stream. It's too late, John said. You already gave them the show. Stefan's phone buzzed. Once. Twice. Then vibrated steadily. He pulled it from his pocket, his confidence slipping the moment he saw the caller ID. A single word stared back at him, wife. His smirk cracked. He quickly declined the call, tapping the side of the phone with trembling fingers. Just as he tried to pocket it, the screen lit up again. New caller, chairman. His boss. He froze. Sophia leaned in. Don't answer it, she hissed. Just ignore it. He hesitated. His jaw clenched. Then, in a panicked breath, he hit decline again and tapped the quick reply, can't talk. We'll call you later. Sophia didn't notice his fear. She was too busy checking her reflection in the car window and smoothing her hair. The stream? Still running. The viewer count had passed 1,000. She hadn't even glanced at the screen again. She assumed it was off, or forgotten. She assumed the worst was over. John stood back as they exited the car. He didn't move. Didn't speak. The roses in the trunk remained untouched. A small gust of wind pushed one red petal to the ground. It landed at his feet. Outside, footsteps echoed in the underground lot. People were gathering. Phones lit up the shadows. Some filmed openly. Others just stared. Whispers passed between them like sparks on dry leaves. There she is. That's her? She's with the VP? Oh my God, I saw the whole stream. Sophia stepped out confidently, adjusting her posture like she was stepping onto a red carpet. She glanced around at the onlookers. Then at Stefan's parked Porsche. She smirked. Hope they're getting my good side. Someone booed. Another person, older, possibly a neighbor, shouted, shame on you. Sophia ignored them. Her heels clicked against the pavement as she clung to Stefan's arm and strutted toward the elevator. Stefan kept his head low, eyes scanning the watchers. He was sweating now. A man in a stained tank top pointed his phone at her and asked, hey, didn't you say this car belonged to your poor fiancé? Guess he upgraded. Sophia turned with a bold smile and said loud enough for everyone to hear, this is what it means to level up. There was a ripple of gasps. A few people laughed. Some just shook their heads in disbelief. One woman from the building's cleaning staff muttered, disgusting, and turned away. Then a new voice echoed from across the garage. Sophia. It wasn't a whisper. It was a roar. The elevator at the far end had opened. Two people stood in front of it, her parents. Her mother's face was white as bone, her hands trembling. Her father's fists were already clenched. Their expressions weren't confused. They weren't even angry. They were something worse, broken. Sophia stopped mid-stride. Mom? Dad? Her mother didn't speak. She walked forward. Her handbag trembled against her side. From inside it, something shiny caught the light, a kitchen knife. She wasn't yelling. She wasn't crying. She was focused. Sophia laughed nervously. Wait, what are you doing here? Did you get my birthday invite? I was just going to text. Her mother lunged. John reacted instinctively, stepping between them. But he was too slow. The knife slashed sideways, not at Sophia's chest, but her face. A red line bloomed instantly from cheekbone to jaw. Sophia stumbled back, clutching her skin. What the? Her father was next. He grabbed her by the neck and slammed her back into the side of the car. You humiliated us. You filthy, lying. Dad, Dad, she screamed. You made your mother bleed from her mouth. You made us watch you disgrace yourself like a whore. John pushed forward again. Please, stop. She's hurt. No, her father bellowed. She's not hurt yet. He raised his hand to strike again, but this time, a neighbor held him back. Her mother sobbed uncontrollably behind him, still holding the blade. Someone knocked it out of her hand and it clattered under the car. Sophia slid to the ground, clutching her bleeding face and sobbing. You're crazy. What is wrong with you? Her father pointed down at her. What's wrong with us? We watched your live stream with our church group. Gasps echoed again. Even the security guard standing nearby stepped away, his walkie-talkie in hand, already calling someone. Stefan took a step back. This is insane. We need to go. But Sophia didn't move. She just sat on the ground, dazed, blood streaking down her chin. She looked up at John with hollow eyes. Did you send them the stream? John shook his head. I didn't have to. The parking garage felt like a courtroom now, dozens of eyes on them. No verdict, no judge. Just the crowd and the truth they had all seen. Sophia's illusion of control shattered like glass under her own heels. She had climbed into the car smiling. She would leave it stained, mocked, and stripped of everything she used to weaponize: status, attention, beauty, image. And the worst part? It was only the beginning. Sophia stumbled through the lobby doors, one heel broken, blood still streaking from her cheek where the knife had grazed her. The cut hadn't stopped bleeding. Her foundation had smeared, and the once flawless look she'd left the house with now resembled a cracked mask. Her blouse clung to her skin in wrinkled patches. And yet, she still walked with her chin slightly raised, as if pride could hold her together. John walked behind her, not out of protection but necessity. They were headed to his apartment, hers too, technically, where her belongings remained. The crowd followed. Neighbors, co-workers, curious strangers who had seen the stream or heard whispers of it. Their eyes were phones. Their mouths whispered, filmed, judged. Stefan trailed further back, a distance forming between him and Sophia. It wasn't intentional at first, but now he was avoiding her touch, her proximity, her existence. His face had lost all color. His Porsche still sat parked below, a luxury shell that couldn't shield him from the news that was already rippling through his company. John reached the elevator first. The doors opened. Inside, balloons still floated. A birthday banner hung crookedly from the ceiling. One corner had slipped, dangling like a broken promise. The hallway was still half decorated, half finished. Someone had started to hang fairy lights and then stopped. On the floor were scattered plastic wine glasses, one of which cracked as Sophia stepped inside. John didn't hold the door. She slipped in just before it closed, clutching his sleeve. "John," she said in a voice that tried to be soft. "Please, let's just go upstairs and talk." John didn't move. "Talk about what?" "I made a mistake, okay? But we can fix this. You can delete the stream. Tell everyone it was staged. Or hacked. Say it was AI. People believe anything now." Behind them, someone snorted. Then another muttered, "Unbelievable." Stefan finally entered the hallway too. The crowd had split to let him through, but only so they could follow. When he reached the group, he didn't speak. His phone buzzed in his pocket, but he didn't check it anymore. He already knew, his wife had seen everything. The chairman, too. His job, his reputation, his leverage, gone. Sophia reached out to John again. "Just say something. You're not going to let this go viral, are you? You wouldn't do that to me." John turned slowly. "You did it to yourself." At that moment, her mother, being supported by two relatives, screamed behind them. She gasped for breath, then collapsed, her body hitting the tiled hallway floor with a sound that silenced everyone. Sophia spun, panic in her eyes. "Mom!" Her father was already there, kneeling beside the woman. "She's fainted. She's out cold." John stepped forward, instinct kicking in. "Someone call an ambulance." But before anyone could move, Sophia rushed over, only for her father to shove her back so violently she hit the wall. "Don't you touch her!" "I didn't mean. You made her vomit blood. You made her pull a knife on her own child. Who does that?" Sophia started to cry. But the crowd was done listening. People muttered, "This is what she deserves. Did you see how she smiled when she stepped out of that car?" She still thought she was the victim. Stefan stepped forward then, trying to take control. "Everyone calm down," he said. "This is getting out of hand. Let's all just step back and..." A fist cut him off. It came from the side, unseen, unannounced, and it knocked him straight to the ground. He didn't even get a full scream out, just a grunt before his body slammed against the floor. Chaos. Someone yelled, "He deserves more." Another person kicked at his side. Sophia screamed, "Stop! Stop!" She rushed to him, but someone grabbed her arm and pulled her back. "Get away from him," a voice snarled. He's, she couldn't finish. Stefan groaned, trying to crawl toward the stairwell, blood leaking from his mouth. Then, all at once, he stood and lunged, not at the crowd, but at Sophia. "You ruined me," he screamed, spittle flying, eyes wild. "You said it was safe. You said no one would know. You lied to me." He grabbed her by the throat. Screams erupted again. Sophia clawed at his hands, gasping. "Let me go. Let me go." He shoved her against the wall, tightening his grip. "You were supposed to be smart. You said it was under control. I didn't send the stream. I didn't know. You dragged me into this." John moved instinctively, grabbing Stefan's wrist. "Let her go." Stefan swung blindly, hitting John in the jaw. John staggered but didn't fall. Sophia slid down the wall, coughing, tears streaming, face smeared with blood and mascara. The hallway became a war zone. People shouted. Some filmed. Others tried to pull them apart. It was Liza, of all people, Sophia's old friend, who grabbed Stefan's collar and pulled him back, slapping him across the face. "You think this helps you?" she shouted. "You're already fired. You're going to jail." Sophia gasped, "It wasn't all me. He's the one who said to hide the money. He's the one who planned the silence. You offered it. Stephen screamed. You begged me for that cash. I was protecting you. You were protecting yourself. They screamed over each other. Cursed. Blamed. Swung. And then. Police sirens outside. Flashing lights spilled into the hallway through the elevator shaft. Officers pushed through the crowd. Everyone back. Step away now. Get down. 2 officers tackled Stephen first, slamming him to the ground, handcuffing him roughly. Sophia shrieked. Wait. Wait, it wasn't, he's hurting me. A 3rd officer approached her with hesitation. We saw the footage. You admitted it on tape. Stay where you are. I didn't mean it. I was scared. Another officer joined in. Ma'am, you're under arrest for conspiracy to cause harm, obstruction of evidence, and accessory after the fact. You have the right to remain silent. No, she sobbed. I didn't do anything. He told me what to say. It was all him. You confessed, the officer replied flatly. John leaned against the doorframe as they cuffed both of them. The hallway smelled like sweat and broken perfume. Pieces of rose petals stuck to the floor. A cracked wine glass leaked down the tiles. The echo of a ruined celebration hung over the room. He didn't say anything. Not when Sophia was dragged past him. Not when she looked up at him with trembling lips and whispered, "Why didn't you save me?" John looked her dead in the eye and said only one word, "Stream." The police cruiser pulled away with Stephen and Sophia cuffed in the back seat, each staring out opposite windows. Not at the crowd. Not at the people filming. Just at their reflections, smeared, broken, and irreversible. One was bleeding from the mouth. The other still had tear trails carved through her foundation. The screaming had stopped. No one protested. No one defended them. No one said goodbye. By morning, every major group chat in their city had a link to the footage. The video, originally set to private link only, had been screen recorded, chopped into segments, subtitled, and reshared with commentary. A local gossip page titled it, "Proposal Gone Nuclear, She Climbed into the Wrong Car." Another labeled it, "Luxury Lies, Live Stream Truth." Sophia's face was now public property. Stephen's name trended briefly, until it was overtaken by words like criminal, fraud, and attempted murder. The company acted fast. Stephen was fired by 9 a.m. An emergency HR notice cited conduct violations, violent behavior, and sexual misconduct. They terminated him without severance. The chairman made a statement 2 hours later, confirming that the footage had reached headquarters and legal was already involved. By noon, the man who once bragged about giving Sophia 20,000 yuan monthly was homeless, jobless, and under investigation. His wife filed for divorce before sunset. She attached the entire live stream as evidence, noting not just the infidelity, but the on-record threats against John and others. Their prenup kicked in instantly. Everything he once flaunted, the Porsche, the penthouse, the bank accounts, was frozen or seized. When police searched his apartment, they also found suspicious financial records and a burner phone used in the janitor case. He didn't even try to deny it. The moment they read the charges aloud, he broke down laughing. No deal. No bargain. Just trial. He got life. Sophia never made it to trial. That night in the hallway, during the chaos, something inside her broke. The moment Stephen's hand crushed her throat and slammed her into the wall, something snapped in her spine. At first, she thought it was shock. Numbness. A delayed panic response. But when the handcuffs came out and she tried to resist, she couldn't move her fingers. Then her arms. Then her legs. By the time they loaded her into the back of the cruiser, she had already lost control of her body from the neck down. At the hospital, the scan showed damage to her spinal cord, severe, irreversible. The doctors said the pressure applied during the assault, combined with the angle of impact, had crushed the nerves responsible for all lower body function. She was intubated, sedated, and diagnosed as a high-level quadriplegic. She would never walk again. She would never feed herself again. She would never use a bathroom again. Even her breathing had to be supported by a machine. The girl who once mocked John for taking the subway could no longer move a single toe. Her parents visited once, silently. Her mother sat beside the bed, looking at the tubes and machines and wires, and whispered, "You did this to yourself." Her father didn't speak at all. He simply stood near the door, arms crossed, until a nurse asked if they were staying. They said no. They walked out without saying goodbye. By week's end, the hospital received a government transfer request. Sophia was no longer considered the financial responsibility of her family. She was now under the state's long-term care program. The facility they chose was clean, but bare. No flowers. No scented soaps. No pink bedsheets. Just institutional grays, pale green curtains, and adjustable beds. Her room had no mirror. The only view was of a cracked parking lot and a dead tree leaning sideways against a rusted fence. When she arrived, no one was waiting. No friends. No coworkers. No Liza. No Stephen. And certainly not John. A nurse helped adjust her on the mattress. She cried during the process, not because of pain, but because she could feel nothing at all. The nurse turned her head gently to the side, whispering, "Blink once for yes, twice for no." Sophia blinked 3 times. The nurse gave up. She was 30 and trapped in a body she could no longer control. Her phone was gone. Her beauty routine, irrelevant. Her life, irrelevant. At feeding times, she was spoon-fed by someone half her age. During diaper changes, she was rolled like an object. There were no soft hands. No familiar voices. Just staff rotations, beeping monitors, and the quiet hum of her breathing machine. Sometimes, when she was alone, she cried. Other times, she stared at the ceiling in silence, blinking only when her eyes stung. The memory of her laughter in the back seat haunted her. The taste of luxury was still on her tongue, but the world had already moved on. John didn't plan the visit. It had been over a year since the live stream, since the screams, the scandal, the arrest. His life had moved forward in quiet steps. He changed apartments. Changed jobs. Changed numbers. Most people assumed he'd disappeared. But he hadn't. He just stopped speaking. Until today. He stood outside the rusted gates of the state-run care facility, holding nothing. No flowers. No gifts. No camera. Just stillness. The receptionist didn't recognize him. No one did. The name, Sophia Lynn, triggered a knowing look, though. 3rd floor. End of the East Hall. Room 308. Her voice was flat. Not sympathy. Not pity. Just routine. He walked the halls in silence, the smell of bleach and age pressing into his clothes. Wheelchairs creaked past him. Nurses murmured behind curtains. A flat monitor beeped steadily from every room. He passed room 305, then 306, then. He stopped. Room 308. The door was ajar. Inside, she lay beneath gray sheets. Hair now uneven and dull, face pale, makeup long gone. A tube rested beneath her nose. Her head was tilted awkwardly toward the wall, her eyes wide but unmoving. And beside her, slapping her, was a woman in pale scrubs. Slap. Again. Not hard. But cruel. Routine cruelty. John recognized her immediately. Once a janitor. Quiet. Kind. But she had disappeared 2 years ago, after a car accident left her in a cast. An accident everyone now knew had been orchestrated by Sophia. A whispered rumor. An investigation dropped. Sophia had paid someone to nudge her while she crossed the street. Karma had legs once. Until they were broken. Now the janitor had power. Now she fed Sophia. Cleaned her. Watched her rot in silence. No court had given her permission, but no one stopped her either. Sophia's eyes brimmed with tears. She didn't scream. She didn't flinch. She just blinked. Once. Twice. Again. John stepped into the room. The caregiver froze. Sophia's eyes locked onto his face instantly, desperate, confused, hollow. The only thing in her body that still responded. John didn't speak. He didn't ask why. He didn't try to understand. He just watched. Then turned around. And walked out. No words. No comfort. No closure. Just silence. Sophia blinked faster. Cried. Tried to mouth something. But the man she had once humiliated never looked back. Outside, the wind carried cherry blossoms from a distant tree. Somewhere, a child laughed. A door slammed. Life kept moving. Inside room 308, the echo remained. She wanted excitement, John finally whispered beneath his breath. She got eternal stillness.